we actually want to talk about a very interesting topic that I'm sure everybody will like to talk about it.
Yes.
Which is the Nintendo Direct. Bumba bum bum ba.
Yeah, the Switch 2 stuff. Yeah,
The Switch 2 stuff. Yeah. So yeah,
exactly.
for those who don't know, Switch 2 has been announced, and with some of information about the device, the games that's gonna come out. But only one thing that they decide to not show in the direct, and that is the price. And the thing is that right now they decided to put the games with something like around $80 to $90 when even if it's come to physical copies. When we get to that information, it's getting much more worse actually. And also,
the more I look into it, it keeps getting worse. Not the games are not only the games are very overpriced. The console itself is like $500 already, and then we have to buy the controllers and the camera and this and that separately. It doesn't come in the same box as the console.
Yeah, and the thing is that also, by the way, for those who don't know, there's updates for older games of Switch on the Switch 2, but this is actually cost money. So like right now,
purchase an upgrade pack.
Yeah. Like they said, like from what probably everybody kind of got some information about it, they're saying it's gonna be around 15 to 20 bucks for update. For let me repeat this: update for graphical. Just graphical updates. It's not like you're getting all the DLC or all the stuff. No, you're just getting an graphic updates, which is really annoying. The company is the console's price is fell though. The console price, I think it's a hit and miss and stuff like that, because the thing, the console price is, let's face it, this is not a PS5. This is not gonna be as strong as the PS5 or Xbox Series X or a PC to be exact. I mean, let's face it. It's not making any sense. Also, we have Crash here that actually hearing about this story right now. So
for the first time.
Yeah, for the first time. Yeah, hi. So Crash, just for what you hear, what do you think about that?
I think that's insane. I think that's the worst decision Nintendo could ever make in their lives.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly they're just trying to get money out of us, but bro, a regular Switch game by itself is like $60. Like literally, what is the point?
They used to be like 40. They used to be like 40 or 20.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at the moment, for like new games, like at the moment, like the price cap is like 60.
Yeah, but the problem
I think at the moment with the new games and stuff, it's like 60 is like the main one. Nintendo, flying way above that.
Yeah, there's also a very bad. There's also a thing that's going online about the fact that back when the Super NES was released, the game cost like $19-$80, but those kind of information are not that good for what we're actually having right now, because we're talking about when all those consoles were really at their peak. So it's make no sense that those stuff will actually consist when it's come to pricing. You're not supposed to increase your pricing. And also we have games on the PS5 and Xbox Series X and PC that are definitely have really high quality graphic and stuff like that, and they cost $70. But what kind of reason actually gives them to actually increase the price? There is no reason for that. You can say, yeah, we're gonna have 4K and 120 FPS. It's not justify the price. It's not justify the price.
Yeah.
And also,
I have.
Oh yeah. You want to talk?
Yeah. So you guys remember they gave us extra storage space in a console, right? It has something to do with the physical copies, or like quote unquote physical copies they give us. Like they make us literally download everything. They won't have us. They won't give us any chips with the full game on it, and they will want $10 more just for the box, basically, with a code on it that only lets us download like 10% of the game. The rest we have to download online. This is basically just a license with the game key or whatever. And with us downloading everything, of course we need more storage space on the console. Normally it would be on the chip.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but the thing is that they're charging for a key, and just adding something like $10 to $20 is just absolutely out of nowhere. Bullshit. Seriously,
it is. Sure. I will not buy this shit. I will freaking strike against this. Cancel them on Twitter and make them do a 360. Okay, sorry.
Shadow. Christ was about to say something. Yes.
You guys were talking about like a licensing chip, like something like that, right?
Yeah.
You know what this kind of reminds me of?
What?
What?
Like, I just remembered because I was messing with my 360. I remember how we used to have to, like, you would have 2 discs for the 360 games. It would have like one disc would like download like half of the game, and then another disc would download the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
It like reminds me of it.
Well, there are games like that are actually still doing that. Like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth actually still doing that. That you actually need to have
saying, like, dude, that's so old, and you guys are still doing that. You know?
But the discs that you are saying is like the game got split into two discs, right? In this case, it's you get the chip. It has a bit of the actual game on it, and the rest you have to download online.
Yeah, so it's mean that you don't have the full game.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's basically the same concept, just no disc.
Yeah, absolutely.
Basically, but I want the physical copies. I want the discs. I want the chips. I am a collector. I need a physical thing, and this defeats the whole purpose of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
It's just a Nintendo face. Hello, I like money.
Yeah, exactly. I like money. Man, I
actually so sad.
Yeah, it's really sad that they're going through doing that, because I think that there was a kind of a goodwill what happened when it come with Nintendo, that everybody with the Switch, and everybody have this time with a lot of people that actually buying the Switch because it was with okay price, and everybody have access to this. And the fact that now they're using all this goodwill to actually milk.
They have always made money off of us, no matter what we do. So what's Nintendo gonna do next? Oh, Nintendo Switch Plus or some bullshit. Now you play online software, so you don't have to do those licensing stuff, or it takes out less fees. Oh, here's cheaper games. No, it's just gonna keep on getting expensive.
Mm-hmm.
You're sitting there, you just got scammed out of $600-700. Now you're paying a subscription fee every single month. That's $1,000 or $2,000 every single year, and then you're sitting there being like, wow, I barely even use this thing.
Yeah,
or is it even worth spending $1,000, $2,000 every single year just to play a game?
Yeah, you're right.
I would just buy myself. I would just buy myself a proper GameCube. Figure out how to stream from it, and then do that.
I actually want to buy a GameCube.
I actually want to buy a GameCube just so I can play Wind Waker and Twilight Princess.
I want to replay Pokemon Colosseum, bro.
Mario Kart.
See, I don't understand why they don't just revamp some of the older consoles just so people can have that access instead of I think it's like the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah,
like
they
don't
did with
have
the
specific games that you can't
they actually did announce that the GameCube games are actually coming to the Switch 2, but only on the Switch 2. You can only do the Switch Online of GameCube only on Switch 2. So right now they actually announced a couple of games.
With the GameCube, you can still get the physical copies. Here you just pay a monthly fee, and then you're fucked afterwards. You can't keep the game.
Yeah.
Guess what? The Super Mario Sunshine is actually on the GameCube on Nintendo Online stuff.
How convenient.
Super How convenient, yeah.
How convenient is that?
Yeah, I think it was their plan all along. Okay, Shadow, go for it.
So Mr. Husky says, speaking of the Nintendo Switch, from what we know of the specs of the hardware, one of my so-called friends has been making a point of Nintendo is kind of behind on the better hardware specs compared to, say, PS5 or Xbox Series S, and X's hardware specs are leaps ahead of Nintendo's hardware. Also, I mean, the GameCube's port of Twilight Princess was limited release type deal, so good luck in finding a copy.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
yeah. PS5 or Xbox or PC.
Also,
Come on,
if I
it's
may
PC.
add to this,
Oh
Yes.
I
yes.
just want to
let you
say,
add.
if we all for the ones who watched the trailer, you could see Elden Ring was struggling to run on the Switch.
Oh really? I actually
You
didn't
could
know
see
that.
in the trailer, Elden Ring was struggling to run.
Oh really?
Dang.
I actually didn't know this.
Yeah, it was
But-
really
but-
struggling to run on the Switch. It was like
but-
tiny
but,
lags.
Yeah, but I actually saw really horrible lags. Actually, if you notice when they announced the chatty thingy that they had this chat. The voice chat. You can they show that you can actually just also share.
And guess what? You need a
everybody-
membership for that.
Yeah, you need membership for that. Yeah, you're right. And the thing is that they also show the screen share for everybody, but they actually show it on their trailer that these things is run like shit. Literally run like shit. You can actually see how
Oh
it's
yeah,
like
on the game
5%.
share.
And nobody actually talking about that. I actually noticed that a lot through their trailers.
How
and that is
laggy
in
the
their
game
trailer.
share was.
Yeah, it was so laggy. Nobody's talking about it, but it's so laggy, and it's in
Indeed.
their trailer. I mean, for pretty sake, it's in your trailer. Everybody can see it's working horribly. I don't believe they actually put that in their trailer. If I was them, I was absolutely going to just fake it or something. I don't know.
Everybody knows the presentations are way better than the original thing. So if that is already laggy, let's imagine how bad the actual thing is.
Just
Absolutely, you're
freezes
right.
every 10 seconds.
We sing the same games over and over and over again, like Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, and all those kind of games. The reason for that is because companies trying to actually go safe, and also at the same time they trying to avoid any kind of risk, because they know if they're trying to make a new game, they're risking it. They're actually risking it that it's not going to be a good game, and they know if they're actually going to do that, they're going to lose a lot of money. So this is why we're not seeing a lot of games, and we're not also seeing a lot of innovations in those games, because they want to go in a specific formula. They always think that's going to work, and sometimes they're also just going to give you the same thing, so you'll be happy. But the thing is, because of that stuff, we are getting the same stuff over and over and over again. But if you
People
know
just
that,
get bored of remakes.
yeah, and that's gonna continue as long as companies will not understand that in games you have to be innovative. You need to give something new. You already know how the joke one is gonna go. So
Me and Shadow with the tree joke.
the tree joke.
All I know is in probably another maybe like 10 years, they're gonna struggle so hard.
Yeah,
I feel like they're just
Indeed.
milking us. They're milking us for every dollar until society just realizes they're like, oh my god, like I just spent $700 on the newest console. Oh my god, I could only play what? I have to pay $100 a month subscription just to play the game that I want to pay, but then also in that game I also have to pay in-game stuff
In-game
to then be
purchases.
better at the game or to have better stuff. So then, bro, you're just spending money. It's just nonstop money,
Yeah.
money, money.
Yeah.
I thought we were supposed to play
Yeah, like
video
for
games.
example, if you just want to play one game out of the Switch library, like an oldie, let's say, from the retro collection, you want one game, and you'll probably be busy with it like for 6 hours or so, maybe. That makes like 2 days streaming, basically, for me. And you have to pay minimum a month of Switch Online for that.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, you're right about that. Also, another thing that I want to add. The thing is that also, if you notice, there's a lot of games that trying to inflate the hours of gameplay. They're trying to inflate the hours of gameplay when you play in a game. Like they're trying to add a lot of weird, really boring quests, a lot of very insignificant insignificant stuff in the world that you can do, and all those kind of stuff to increase this time you're actually going to play, but it's not actually contributed to the story of the game. Some are feeling more artificial than something that actually looks like somebody was working on it.
They don't care anymore.
They don't care anymore. They don't care all that.
What they do is like, Yeah, I don't care about you guys having a good time. We just want the money. Actually, what I wanted to add earlier was over time, like they used to make the games like a full freaking game and serve on content. Like can make us laugh, have a good storyline, have a good conclusion to it, or a sad conclusion or whatever, but I have a conclusion in it. Nowadays, they are just giving us a half-assed game and then add DLCs to it that you have to pay for the half-assed job because they cannot bother to give us good content anymore.
Yeah, I agree. And the worst offender in games like this, and I think everybody knows about those kind of stuff. Maybe each of you saw that there are like doing like this wink there was a part that there was supposed to be in the game, but they're saying yeah, this character was going and did that and that and that. Maybe I will talk about that later. Wink buy the DLC. Wink to know what the heck he did.
Buy the DLC and get the scrapped character.
Yeah and
Bitches.
Get the new Mario Kart world.
But notice
Get
what I
Mario Kart
said.
Tour with your new phone.
But notice what I said. A digital copy. A digital. Not physical. Digital. They actually don't want to give you physicals. Notice how they're trying to avoid physical release. They're trying to move their
They're gonna make an enemy out of me. I'm gonna go to the president and kick his ass so I can get my physical copies.
Dude, Borderlands 4 looks awesome.
Yeah,
I really was waiting for Hollow Knight
does.
Silk Song and
Hype
Tomodachi Life 2, but if they're gonna do me like that, I'm gonna cancel them on Twitter.
That's the thing, I can't wait for Tomodachi Life. That was my favorite game on the 3DS.
Dude, how is
really?
Street Fighter
That was a really good
still
one,
going?
yeah.
Street Fighter
Yeah,
6.
it's Street Fighter, dude.
Didn't,
It's Street
one of the
Fighter.
Street Fighter games end up like flopping or something?
I wanted the Street
No?
Fighter
No,
game
that's what
with the
was five.
Marvel.
That
I
was
want to
five.
play Spider-Man, bro. I want the pixelated Spider-Man
Five was-
Street Fighter game.
Imagine if they had Spider-Man to the Nintendo Switch. Marvel
God.
Spider-Man.
But make it for the Switch
It's
1 so I
possible.
don't have
It's
to buy the
possible.
Switch 2,
It's
please.
possible.
Because the Switch 2 is off my table. Fuck you.
Well, Crash, you're not wrong. Street Fighter 5 was the one that flopped because it had nothing, almost nothing. You don't have a lot of characters and you didn't have almost nothing. And they thought that people will eat it and just pay for characters. But then they actually kind of fixed it and put some story and stuff like that. Spending money on a lot of stuff, and then you ask yourself, "Oh, where's my all my money goes?"
Yeah.
No.
Well, I want
mean,
to
with
add to
most
that.
companies now.
It's
Okay.
like a lot of people cannot afford vacations anymore. The last time I had a vacation was maybe the year like 2 years ago.
Oh boy.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my god.
Dude,
Yeah.
It's crazy how I think from 2000, maybe lower than 2000, probably lower than 2000s, but like from 2000 to like 2016, their games were just amazing. And then when 2018, 20, bro, everything has just been going to shit. You still have those like, you know, those good, oh, that one game is just popping off, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm literally just thinking, I'm like, oh my god, what was a really good game when I was a kid? Infamous. Oh my god, Second Son.
Oh yeah.
Prototype. Mafia. I remember Mafia for the like 360 was such a good game.
I don't
I
have
don't
Xbox.
understand what the frick happened to these games. Like, did we just run out of stories? I just like Googled like 2000's best games and then 2024's best games. It's crazy how 2024 had 15 and 2000's says it has 42. Like,
Nice.
we're
You
so
see the difference. You see the difference. We're so fucked.
and they're older games. They're like, I think it says like maybe the top one, not the top one, but like the highest year is like 2008. So it's like that's just from 2008 to 2000. There's already 42 games.
Yeah, it's because
That
companies
proves
are.
that the old games were the better ones.
Yeah.
What games are on that list, by the way? Or did
By the
you
way,
not
Josuke,
games,
welcome to
really
the
look
stream.
into the list?
Yeah. The thing is, this companies are just trying to make a little bit more specific
What happened
games.
to like is it like indie games or like
I actually only played Delta Moon Part 1. I never actually played Part 2.
I've never played it, but I want to.
I played all of it and waiting for the third and fourth chapter.
Play it on Nintendo Switch too.
Hey, this is Switch too.
Fuck
Yeah.
you!
Frick the Nintendo
Put it on the
Switch.
Switch One or I won't buy it, bitch.
Yeah.
If you decide to spend a Nintendo Switch, then you should buy a computer.
Yeah,
Because even with that
absolutely.
$600, you could
That
get
was
at
one
least
of
a
my main
computer.
I hope
things,
they're
but-
gonna put the game either if they're not gonna put it on the Switch, that they at least put it on Steam. That's my hope here.
If things with companies right now is going around like this, I think we can probably expect that mostly indie games are going to control the market.
Thrive.
Yeah.
Like, indie
Yeah, I
games
would
are gonna
rather go with the
thrive.
indie games if the big companies are ending up like that. Bro.
Because the big companies are just starting to get greedy, and then once they do, indie just
Then they're fucked.
oversell.
Then
Yeah.
the sales of the indie games will rise.
Yeah, because what Nintendo's doing, they're raising the market value of games.
In my opinion, if
Yeah.
you're ever gonna spend like a certain amount of money for a game, the max should be like 50, but like even that $50 has to come with something else.
Yeah.
Any
Action
DLCs that are coming
figure.
out, bro, add it to it. Any t-shirt, added figure,
Merch.
added this, that, add it to it. Because
Yeah, totally.
I remember when I think it was like GTA 5 for like the PlayStation 3. I think it was like $70 or something when it first came out or something.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, why 70, 80? What's next? $100 for one game
GTA 6.
that you're gonna play
GTA
for a certain amount of time, and then the
Yeah.
value's pretty much done.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to inflate the prices so they can earn
Yep.
more,
Yeah.
but they don't need this money. Just so you know, they don't need this money. And in the Little Nightmares 2, we didn't get any DLC. There was only the game, and that's it. And I think that's the best thing you can do.
I want the game and that's it. That's what I want.
Yeah, I think
that's
if
what I
you-
want. The game
yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah, if you actually want to give us more, then give us another game with that more. I think that's the correct path.
Yes, please.
Yeah, the thing is that right now, that the thing that a lot of companies are really doing, which is the most gross thing ever, is the fact that let's throw this game out, and if it's broke, we can fix it later. That is the worst mentality every game right now. Cyberpunk,
Oh shit.
a lot of other games that have been
Sonic
like that.
06.
Sonic 06 was bad in its own, dude.
Yeah, it was back.
It's not.
Like
They
the
never
story
fixed
could
that.
have had potential. The story could have had
It could have
potential,
had
but they had to flush it down the toilet.
The
Because
loading,
they wanted the Christmas sales.
the
Again, money.
Yeah, Sonic 06 is just a bad game. Just a bad game with
Because it was
sound-
rushed and they had to flush the story down the toilet and cut it short.
Yeah,
Because they wanted money.
You can see there is some kind of potential in that game, but they
Yes.
definitely did a wrong choice with how they implement all the stuff.
Indeed.
So just so you know, everybody, if a company saying that you need to pay any kind of money to get an update of graphics, don't ever pay that stuff, because this is a
They're so
scummy move.
fucked.
Yeah, absolutely. Because this is a scummy move to totally. Because this is a scummy move to actually get money and make it normalize. Because why they doing that? Why they doing that? The reason why they doing it, they wanted that when they're going to release the next console, and if you want to have that game working even better on that console, you have to have that update. So you need to pay more money. So they're trying to make that also thing in the next console, and that's a scummy move that you never should agree to. And that's also, if I'm actually talking about that upgrades, they also announced that there are games that if you are not updating the games, like the Switch 1 games, if you're not getting the updates, it will not work on the Switch 1. It will not.
Yeah.
It will just not work. And they just
I
said
feel like they're
that.
just trying to make everything obsolete. Like they're just like, oh, perfect. It's like everything's a cash grab. Oh, the new PlayStation 5 just came out. Okay, it's done. We're making a new one. New PlayStation 5, whatever. Boom. Now the PlayStation 5 is obsolete. Like the new Xbox X just came out, bro. They're working on another one right now. For what?
Yeah.
To make it obsolete? Like, what's the point?
the new consoles that actually cost much more money, and they're also on the process trying to make it much more cheaper for them to create. So that's why you're getting also the slimmer version. The slimmer version are just a way to make the cost much more cheap, so they can actually bring more consoles. This is their trick all the time. They're using it from the PS2, PS1 for all that time to today. Today it's been a move of every company to this day, just taking the console, make it much more slimmer, make it costly for them less, and just put it in a bigger price on sale, so people will have to buy it because it's new. It's a new one. It's an improved one. It's a power that and that and that. It's got more stuff like that and that.
Okay, I want to add to something. Like
Yeah,
I heard somewhere that the Switch 2 has a shittier battery than the Switch 1, so they will probably try to sound like that and say, oh, it's probably some shitty thing. You have to buy a second console.
Purchase a battery upgrade.
Oh
like,
yeah,
like
I will see that.
they already pulled this shit. They already pulled this shit on the Switch 1's controllers that they broke. You know.
Yeah,
the
I actually
controls broke. So you bought new ones of those or a pro controller.
Yeah, that's actually a good point that you're actually saying here.
I'm not done. I'm not done here. Like,
No, yeah,
they also promoted. They also promoted with the games that you can shift easily between two consoles. Who's gonna buy two consoles? Well, they're gonna try and make them buy a second one through that. Probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely agree. And the thing is that they know that probably the controllers can break, and the fact that they're going to price it in $90. $90, by the way, for the controllers. $90 for controllers.
Making it break on purpose.
Yeah, they're probably not going to make it very much more high quality. So you have to buy a new one if it's going to break or something like that. So I definitely see them doing that. This is going to be so scummy in so many ways. And absolutely don't buy the updates. Absolutely don't buy the updates.
But I want to say, if you help them, if you promote this behavior, they will continue doing it.
Yeah, they will. They will.
So, and they will get worse at it too.
Yeah.
So let's not promote it and see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. I think that everybody should just go and not buy.
All they can do is either lower costs or do 360 and return to the good era of games when the games were still good and try to redo that.
Yeah, I agree.
Hopefully.
I think everybody should just, if you're thinking about buying a console, I recommend just buy yourself a PS5. Buy yourself an Xbox Series X. Buy yourself a Steam Deck. By the way, buy yourself a Steam Deck.
Get games on Steam.
Yeah, just so you know, Steam Deck, compared to the Nintendo Switch, you can actually play all those games. You can play a lot of games from Steam and stuff like that. And you can also do a lot of settings inside it. And also, they actually let you mod it, so you can actually play a lot of other stuff. So
wait, so you can mod Lethal Company on the Steam Deck?
Yeah.
What? No way, I didn't know that.
Wait.
Content creator that telling you to buy stuff, wait a bit. Wait
until the prices go down.
Wait until
yeah.
the price is down. Wait until it's a reasonable price. Wait until you can actually just enjoy the price. It actually can buy it and not have to mortgage your house to buy a Switch or something like that.
Yes. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, because if these prices are gonna go up, we're gonna get to a point when one game can cost $200. I'm seeing
games.
that.
Well, actually, no, the VR games aren't actually that bad.
No, the VR games are not that, not all the time bad, and most of the time they're not that expensive.
Apart from the Apple Vision.
I don't know about the Apple Vision. I know it's very expensive as frick. If this actually going to be normalized, it's going to affect everything because everything is going to be pricier. Everything going to be much more thing, and I can see also Sony and Microsoft actually increasing the console's price just because of Nintendo. Yes, I can definitely tell you that. I'm telling you, if Nintendo are going to increase their console price to $600, the others going to do the same and going to price it to $800.
Nintendo always has been setting gaming trends, and I won't accept it this time. I'm gonna shut it down at its source.
This is a trend that we
to.
don't need.
Exactly.
Which is also kind of not nice. Is that at some point they decided that we're not updating more our headset, and because of that you cannot get more new stuff. And the thing is, what's really dangerous about this is because when they're not getting more updates, it means that if somebody's developing on Unity or Unreal Engine, on the newer versions of that, they cannot actually create new stuff on that console because the version is not comparable with that one. It's something that probably I can see them doing on the Switch too. They're probably going to like create that kind of version that you can only do up to that kind of version. And if you don't, well, too bad. You cannot make any games on Switch 1 because we're not supporting it anymore. I can definitely see that going.
It's like they did with the Wii U and the DS. Like they've been shutting down all the online services.
I hate that they did that. I freaking loved the eShop, bro. They had to shut it down. I was very upset.
Well, it makes sense.
It's an old console, so it makes sense. But at the same time, people do still enjoy using that console. For example,
exactly.
Wii.
Me too. I still use it to this day, bro.
Same. I use mine for content.
Well, that's a different thing.
That's my main content. Is the Wii.
Old consoles are still.
Also, Mr. Hero,
bigger.
good news.
Yeah.
GameCube, €85
Oh, okay.
on eBay.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah,
I might get that one and Switch too. I might just get GameCube. I might just get GameCube instead.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's how this thing's going is definitely much more preferred if you want to play older games.
To be honest, I just want to play Mario Kart Double Dash.
Yeah, I think that if you actually want to play older games, I think you should just buy older console and that's it.
Yeah.
And like get yourself an adapter for HDMI and that's it. It will cost you less than that.
Yeah, like maybe maximum 15 euros, maybe. 15, 20 euros.
The thing is depend on the game. The thing is that there are also inflations on older games.
Yeah,
like there are,
for the games, it really depends how popular the games were. For example, I just saw Animal Crossing for GameCube for like almost 400 euros.
Damn.
Yeah, that can happen. Yeah. And the thing is that it's mostly, if you can notice, it's also happening more in RPG games because in RPG games there are not a lot of copies, and because there are it also depends on how good the game is, but it also can actually make the game much more expensive because not a lot of people have access to get the game because not a lot of copies being made for that. Especially on that era, because that era there were not a lot of copies that was released. So because of that, there's a lot of inflation about how the game can cost. And the thing is that there are also, which is kind of funny, there are also a shop that's collecting games, that's selling old games, and they're also inflating prices. So the thing is that...
yeah, I got a shop next to me that is like, I think there was like a Super Mario Galaxy. I think it was like $60 or like $50 because the game on eBay costs like I think like $30 or $40. So they have to like make that extra $10-20 in profit.
Yeah, that's how it actually works. Yeah, that's the problem right now. There are people that are actually increasing prices of older games. So because of if somebody's is selling it in $80, oh yeah, I will sell it in $80 or $70.
That's exactly what a CEX does. If you live in Europe, you know what CEX is. It's a second-hand game
CEX
store.
is such a good second-hand game store. I love it so much. I keep going to London just for CEX, bro.
Yeah, they buy games for like don't know how much, then sell it for like nearly 100 more from what the last thing I saw in there.
I think
all of them are such a steal. I just go to CEX and get games for like £2 each.
Exactly.
I think that what companies are really want to avoid is creating the second hand, trying second-hand games. Yeah, I know what you mean. I think companies trying to avoid the fact that you can buy a game at half price or when it's not from them. They want you to buy it in full price from their place. And I think that you can definitely see it happening because of all the remaster stuff and all that. And they know that those games can absolutely just be imported to those consoles and that's it. But they probably, because they want more money for this, they just, let's say it have HD graphic, HD textures, and
HD remaster.
Absurd.
It's always about capitalism.
But you do know the more expensive they make the shit, someone will buy it, and then piracy will be the legal thing now.
if this continue, let me tell you this.
Yeah.
That reminds me of all the
let
anti-piracy videos.
me tell you this.
Some of them are really funny.
Let me tell you this.
God.
You're kidding about this, but the thing is that
No, I'm
this
not
actually
kidding.
going
I'm
to
actually
continue-
saying this is a fact. It will become legal for us to do piracy if they're going to continue that way, making everything
Just
so
so you know,
expensive.
just so you know, there are countries that actually allow those kind of stuff just because how expensive games are
Exactly.
in specific countries. And the thing is
My
that
point.
think about that. If it's actually going to increase if the price is also going to increase around the world, so places that already have it's already expensive. Think about how expensive it's going to be on their place. They have to buy probably triple our price, and probably had to just figure out how to buy that, and pretty much everybody would just hack their console and get those games illegally. And
Yeah,
the problem
pretty
is,
much.
and the thing is that the companies are to blame for this because you are increasing the price.
Of course
And
they
because
are.
you're increasing the price,
That's
there
emulators
are
for you.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. If you think you can actually increase the price and the consumer will not find a way, a loophole to just get the game for free, you're mistaken, because people will download games. People will do that, and the more expensive the game will be, the more piracy will be mandatory. Let me give you an example, actually. Let me give you a good example.
Yes,
Anime.
please.
I think anime is a really good. I mean,
Actually,
anime is. I think
fact.
it's a. Yeah, I think that anime is the most good example because look at anime right now. Anime have one of the biggest piracy ever, because the company like Crunchyroll and all those stuff just make you pay for subscription and stuff like that. It's also you're not getting all the anime. You probably sometimes there's anime over in that place, anime in that place. And mostly on pirate sites, you can actually have all the series for free, and you can almost
all of those
download them.
websites.
Yeah, same thing with Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, Netflix. They split everything up into separate platforms, and you have to subscribe to all these platforms just to get the specific
just
movies
to find
you want.
one thing that you want to watch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No,
I
you
know.
wouldn't do piracy
Like,
in
I
that
wanna
route.
watch some sitcoms and I can't even find a good website to watch it without having to pay money.
Exactly, this sucks.
Yeah.
And that's why
Yeah.
people turn to the free websites.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
And I think that what the company wants is to get to a point when we are like don't have consoles and we just paying for subscriptions, and then we will have to like if you want that game, you need to pay the extra ultra subscription to get that game, or did you if
The
you want
Ultimate
that
Edition.
game, yeah, the
Well,
Ultimate
that's
Edition.
what I'm saying.
No,
If you
let's
want that game-
call this a subscription plus.
Subscription plus, yeah.
Subscription plus.
I ain't paying squat.
I definitely see companies trying to go to that route. It so looks like this is gonna be
It's
like
so
that.
obvious, and I'm not standing for it. Fuck
Yeah,
you.
absolutely. The thing is that they did kind of trying to do the thing in what was that with Stadia? They were trying to do that kind of stuff in Stadia. If you notice, they were trying to do this with Stadia. For those who don't know, Stadia was like this kind of like a streaming gaming thingy that you can actually play on everything. That's at least they're saying. And the thing is, it was so bad that they just scrapped it out and just closed it out. The entire thing. But the thing is that you are renting the game. You're actually renting the game. You don't actually owning the game in any kind of way. But some of them I understand that you kind of own the game. Maybe I'm right or wrong about that.
It sounds like
But-
Redbox.
Yeah, that is memories of a Blockbuster,
What is that?
if anyone's heard of that.
Redbox? You ever
Yeah.
heard of Redbox?
What is Redbox?
Never heard of it.
So in the US, maybe for maybe I think it was like maybe 2010s, 14, 16, around there. I think it stopped in like 17. Essentially what Redbox was, it was like this little like booth where you can essentially pay like $1 or $2 or $3, and you were able to get like they would sell like video games, they'll sell movies.
Oh, you
go
could
up to this
rent them.
box. Yeah, you could basically rent them, take them home for like a day or two, and then you'd rent them for the day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the same as the UK. We had a Blockbuster in the UK.
and basically it was pretty much the same. It was called a blockbuster, and basically
Blockbuster. It was cool.
Yeah, and yeah, it's pretty much the same as Redbox. You could
Blockbuster
pay for
where I
a
thought
movie,
too.
then just rent it for like a week or something. They were really strict on when you had to give it back, though.
Doing a summary, do not buy the Switch 2 and screw over Nintendo as much as you can to either lower the prices or make the 360 that I mentioned earlier.
Or buy it in half price on second hand and just
pirate everything from now on. Who cares anymore?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.